Lex here, welcome back to another video. So in this video we're going to be talking about God and refining you. And we all go through a lot of, like, you could say, trials and, tribulations, especially on our faith journey, and that's part of it. You need to understand that, like, God can't keep you in your comfort zone. You can't stay in your comfort zone in your faith journey when you're trying to grow with God and grow inwardly, do the inner work. And it's so important when you're doing inner work to go outside of your comfort zone all the time, And, when you're with God, you don't necessarily need to maybe search for it, because God will always arrange and orchestrate these things for you to, the right things in your environment and circumstances and people, to change. And, things will just happen naturally with God on your faith journey. You don't really have to seek, because God will provide you with the change that you need all the time. So you don't necessarily need to, like, go outside of your comfort zone in any way. So you don't need to necessarily go outside of your comfort zone in any way in terms of, like, searching for pain or something, like, unnecessarily, like, just to be perfunctory in some way, like, just to, make things harder for yourself, or, grit your teeth with some kind of, like, satanic philosophy, like, unnecessarily causing yourself pain for, like, in discomfort, and, like, I'm gonna grind through this because it's gonna make me, like, you don't need to do, like, excessive things like that, because God will give you the hardship and bear you a burden that you can handle at a time, so you can learn and change over time. It's not like you just go from 0 to 100 pain, it doesn't really work like that. Like, it's not like if we use, like, a job analogy, like job trial, where it's like you go from, like, having riches to basically having nothing, and then also getting beaten almost to death, but not death, by Satan, through, like, all this pain and these trials, and, blisters on his body and everything, and lots of pain. Like, it's not like you just go from 0 to 100 to, like, straight up in your journey, and you, like, go that much outside of your comfort zone. But God always pushes you slightly outward, constantly, as much as you can bear at the time, to change over time. And you notice the gradual changes. Like, he gives you a challenge, even in, like, when you're comfortable, he gives not just you a little challenge here and there, that's for growth and for you to understand yourself better, and to, change, because change is the only way we can become better and more perfected by God, is when we change. And that's the thing, is, like, to get over yourself, and if you actually want to grow with God, you're gonna have to go through some discomfort during the process. Like, Jesus' disciples as well went through a lot of pain. For example, when they were with Jesus, Peter got crucified upside down on the cross and for God. And there's a lot of other stories, of the disciples going through trouble and, getting persecuted for following Jesus and trying to spread the gospel and, doing their duties for God. There's a lot of that, and a lot of the same is still happening today, in China and other places too. Like, you still have some troubles. It's not like the same exactly, but, not like crucified maybe everywhere, but, people are still dying for their faith even now. And there you can see that, like, there's still a lot of, like, troubles and trials and tribulations we have to go through to change in this world and to change this world. And I just want you to understand how important it is for you to actually go outside of your comfort zone, but with God's guidance, not unnecessarily, like, making things hard for yourself just for the sake of it. There's no reason to, like, make things hard for yourself. Like, obviously, like, when you're going to the gym, for example, to do a workout, you can push yourself hard, but that's a bit different. It's like you're pushing to grow. And, when you're working, you can work hard and do your things. But, like, when I'm talking about, like, you don't need to cause yourself unnecessary suffering and pain that's, like, not required, from God. It's not from God. It's just you willfully kind of causing yourself pain and gritting your teeth to go through something. Like, that's kind of unnecessary. Like, God will provide you with the necessary growth that you need. That's the right growth, and it's not just, like, useless pain that's not gonna, like, help you in any way. But, those, like, little nudges and challenges, and, he'll guide you step by step outside of your comfort zone to become stronger. And then, eventually you reach a point where you become stronger and you continue growing. Even when you do maybe you become successful, you still can go through those trials and tribulations with God, even like small challenges, day to day, just God kind of, like, strengthening you in the right places and, nudging you to become ever more perfect with Him. And that's pretty much all I wanted to say in this video. Is when it comes to comfort zones and God, and what God will actually do in your life, and how to actually apply and practice with God, growing up outside of your comfort zone. I hope this video helps. If this will this way, God bless. Amen. And then subscription, thank you if you'd like to, and wanna watch your subscription as well. Helps very